Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to review the 4K edition of Robocop 2 from Screen Factory. So I put out a poll a few days ago asking you guys what you wanted me to prioritize as far as 4K reviews, and everybody voted for Chinatown. That was number one, but in a close second was Robocop 2, and I think over time Robocop 2 actually overtook Chinatown, but I've already reviewed Chinatown on the channel. If you haven't checked out that 4K review, go check it out, but I knew I needed to get to Robocop 2 because that's what you guys were interested in me talking about next. And yeah, this was a fun revisit. I have not seen Robocop 2, I feel like, in years. Maybe the DVD days, possibly the VHS days, but this is the one that I remember watching on the TV the most. On TV, not the TV. Why did I say it? On the TV. On the TV, kids, back in the day, that's what we watched. You know, we watched our movies on the TV. We didn't have these nice 4K editions back then. I remember watching this one on TV all the time. This was the one that I have the most memories with. Now, I feel like fast forward to today, like I had the most memories with the first one because I've watched that more recently. I've watched it at least 4 or 5 times in the last like 6 or 7 years. So I have more memories with the first one now, but before that, I have more memories with Robocop 2 than any of the movies in the franchise. So I'm excited to dive into this 4K release. Now, I will say I do have the Screen Factory Blu-ray right here, but I never watched it until now. I wanted to pop it in and check it out just to kind of compare the two editions. So I will be giving some insight on how this 4K does compare to this Blu-ray. There's also a new Blu-ray in here with a 4K scan as well, which I did pop in to do a little comparison also. So we're going to be talking all things Robocop 2 on 4K in this review. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the movie itself, the 4K, the audio, which there's a lot to talk about with the audio, special features, and then we'll do a little unboxing. But before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. I do all kinds of physical media content on this channel, guys. Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about Robocop 2 as well. Let's get into my review of the movie Robocop 2 because, like I said, it had been a long time since I've seen Robocop 2. The big thing that I remember with Robocop 2 is the fact that Robocop was incapacitated and he was not the same. You know, they change Robocop in this. They take him out and they fundamentally change him as a character, which I always felt weird about when I was a kid. Like, it always just made me sad to see Robocop like disabled for a good portion of the movie. So there's always this weird memory with this film. Robocop 2 is interesting because there's a lot of people that made this film and went into the making of this film that I did not realize at the time when I watched it when I was a kid. So Irvin Kershner actually directed this movie, who he also directed one of my all-time favorite films, my favorite film of all time, actually, which you guys can probably guess what that is, Empire Strikes Back. So Irvin Kershner is the director of Empire Strikes Back, also directed Robocop 2. So is Robocop 2 the Empire Strikes Back of Robocop movies? No, it's not. No, it is not. I still like this movie. I do still like this movie, but after watching the first one recently, like, this movie really pales in comparison to the first one. Like, it's not even close. Like, it's not an Alien situation. It's not a Terminator 2 situation where they're both kind of on par with each other. Robocop 2 is a jarring, drastic step down from the first film. Like, it loses all of that like grittiness and that appeal that first one had. Just that raw, realistic grit. Like, the first movie, it feels dystopian, the way that Detroit's set up, but it still feels grounded in reality. Whereas this movie feels much more like a Saturday morning cartoon to me. I liked it. I still liked it, but some of the villains are just very outlandish. Some of the ways that they choose to tell the story just feel a little ridiculous and out of left field. All the characters in this film, they're not very smartly written like the first one. Like the first one, the characters were written over the top, but in this movie, they're just over the top in all the wrong ways. They're all the ways that just really don't resonate with me while I'm watching it. And also, like I pointed out earlier, they just fundamentally change Robocop as a character in this film. And I get it. It's for purposes of the movie. It's the plot. but I just don't like it. I just don't like that they change him as a character and he's laid up like half the movie, and you got this, weird group of people that's trying to peddle these drugs, this futuristic drug around. Nuke, I think, is it Nukem? I can't exactly remember what it was called. I just watched the freaking movie. This little kid's like a villain in the film. You got the guy from Halloween 3, Colonel Cochran, is a villain in the movie. And then you got Tom Noonan, who's supposed to be the main villain of the film, and then he turns into Robocop 2, which, yes, there's actually a villainous robot in this movie called Robocop 2, which is actually kind of smart, I guess, kind of slick, but yeah, his character is strange. Like, he's set up to be somebody big, but then they just kind of take him out and put him in this robot. And the face of the robot doesn't look like him. It honestly looks like Lawnmower Man, if you guys remember that movie. But like the scene that really got me is like right when they're transporting his brain into the new robot and they show it in the tank. It's like, what am I watching? Am I watching freaking what is that damn movie? Blood Diner. Like, that's what it's, Psycho Gore, man. That's what it started to feel like to me when I was watching it. So it's very goofy. It's very schlocky. It's over the top. It's also written by Frank Miller. The story's by Frank Miller. So there's so many cool like creators that went into making this movie, and it's kind of subpar to me. Like, I still like it because it's RoboCop, and there is some fun like RoboCop action-y sequences and stuff throughout the film. There's some explosions, there's some shootouts, but it's just not as gory, it's not as raw. It doesn't have that grit that first one has. And I don't know, guys. I think it's okay. It's an okay sequel, but like, to go from RoboCop to RoboCop 2, it is a steep drop off, in my opinion. Now, let's get into the actual 4K. The 4K transfer. This is a native 4K with Dolby Vision, HDR10. Now, this is a complete 180 from when I was talking about the movie just now, because this 4K, like, honestly, it's one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. I've been saying that a lot recently, but my God, like, and Scream Factory, they've been doing some really good work in 4K, but this might have overtaken Killer Clowns for me. Maybe not. Maybe it's on par, but like, RoboCop 2 is super clean. It is super crisp. There's still that nice grain structure in there. It still feels like a film from the 90s, but it looks so freaking good on 4K. And another thing I don't love is how they change RoboCop's suit to like this blue metallic look. And I don't know if that was intentional or just something that happened the way they filmed it or something, but it doesn't look the same. It has a bluer tint than the original RoboCop. And I think the original RoboCop in 4K, the actual suit itself, to me, I prefer that look in 4K, but the blue suits, the blue metallic suit in 4K looks incredible as well. I just don't prefer that look on RoboCop, but it looks great. Like, when RoboCop comes out in that suit, he looks super shiny and just crystal clear and looks excellent. There are parts of this movie that feel like a movie you would watch now that just came out, and the effects hold up. Like, that's one thing they got right with this film. The special effects, the practical effects, the the explosions and all that stuff just looks so freaking good in the 4K format. But all throughout this, guys, I was trying to pick out parts that were not up to par as far as the 4K restoration, and I was like, I can't find anything. Like, this is a damn near like perfect 4K. Like, Scream Factory, Shout Factory, they did an incredible job here. Now, I will say I would have preferred Arrow Video done this just to match my 4K edition of RoboCop, but you cannot take away the work that Scream Factory, Shout Factory did with this 4K RoboCop 2. It looked magnificent, absolutely magnificent. So many incredible sequences. There's just such clarity. You can see every detail. The faces are incredible. But like, RoboCop himself, like Murphy's face, like when they take off the mask and they show it, it doesn't really, the 4K doesn't really do that image any favors, if I'm being honest. Like, it all looks very animatronic and very fake, but that's just a testament to how great the 4K looks. And it's all practical. Like, it's all practical, no CGI, nothing like that. So it looks good, but it doesn't look like Peter Weller's face. It looks very uncanny and it looks very fake. It honestly reminded me a lot of Chucky's face, like when it would kind of move around and when they would do that kind of animation with his face and stuff in those movies. But it looks great, guys. Like, this 4K, I cannot say enough good things about it. It is really an impressive 4K restoration by Scream Factory. And when I went back and compared it to this Blu-ray, and I don't remember when this Blu-ray came out. I think it was like 2014, 2015, maybe a little bit later than that. Maybe it was 2017. But like this Blu-ray is nowhere near the quality. This is such a huge, massive upgrade over this original Blu-ray. And I even popped in the Blu-ray with the 4K scan on this one. The Blu-ray with the 4K scan is very clear, crystal clear, but it doesn't have that HDR that just really enhances the colors in that picture, which this movie has loads of colors. Like, it's a very colorful film. Like I said, it's more outlandish visually and performance-wise than the first one. Like I said, the first one's very gritty. This one is more cartoony, so there are a lot more colors, a lot more visual appeal that really stands out with that HDR10 and that Dolby Vision. And there's such great depth to the picture. Like, you can just feel like you can reach out and just touch RoboCop. It is that damn good. So I can't say enough good things about this 4K, guys. It really is magnificent. If you are a fan of RoboCop 2, which I am, look, I feel like I was super negative on the movie. I still think it's fun. I still think it's a good time. But if you love RoboCop 2, like, you're gonna love this 4K. That's not the only thing that Scream Factory upgraded with this. So this has some new audio options in it as well. So this has the 5.1 that I think the 5.1 was available on this Blu-ray from Shout Factory as well. But what they did with the 2.0 track is they redid it. They did a completely new remaster on the 2.0, and they also included the 2.0 track from the Laserdisc back in the day. So there are 3 audio options. You have the original 5.1, a newly remastered 2.0 track, and the Laserdisc 2.0 track as well. So a lot of great audio options for this as well. Audio-wise, guys, there's a lot of great action in this movie, and it sounds freaking fantastic. I'm just listening to this on a sound bar, that kind of simulates that 5.1. So I don't have that full setup, but it sounded great. Like some of the gun shootout sequences, the explosions, like all that stuff, just the movements of RoboCop, like when he's walking around, like you can just feel that, and it just sounds so crisp and so clear on my sound system. So audio-wise, guys, this sounded perfect across the board. Now, admittedly, I didn't listen to the Laserdisc track, but I did listen to the remastered 2.0, and I thought it sounded absolutely excellent. So get into the packaging real quick, guys. I'll show off the slipcover. It's a nice slipcover. It's the original poster of the film, but and you have the blue look on here. You have the blue. So I guess that was just a choice that they made with the film. Let's make RoboCop blue in RoboCop 2. And I don't know what color he is. Is he like green in the third one? I don't know. But this is a really nice, original poster cover. You go to the back right here. You have the synopsis up top. You have all the special features. You have the casting list, all the specs down there at the bottom. Take it out of the slipcover. You got a nice slick 4K case with all the same stuff on the back. Open it up, and we do have the 4K UHD version. I actually still have the Blu-ray in my player out there because I was watching the special features. But the Blu-ray, I think, has the same artwork. Maybe it has, usually with Scream Factory, it has different artwork. So I'll try to like cut to an image of it or something. But the Blu-ray's right here. So you have the Blu-ray, you have the 4K. All the special features are on the Blu-ray disc. They are not on the 4K disc. But what I will say about the 4K, getting back into the actual 4K picture quality, this is on a 100 gigabyte disc, and there are no features on this, so there is no compression issues whatsoever. So that's another reason why I think this looked so damn good. And if other studios and labels would take note of that, like their 4Ks could look just as good as RoboCop 2. So I definitely wanted to note that. No reversible cover art or anything like that on this release. You just have that original poster right there, which Scream Factory usually doesn't have a reversible cover art. Now, getting into the special features, guys, you have 2 audio commentaries here. You have a making of RoboCop 2. You have machine parts, the effects of RoboCop 2, Robo Fabricator, OCP Declassified, adapting Frank Miller's RoboCop, trailers and TV spots, and image gallery. So there is nothing new in terms of special features here, which is a little disappointing. I would have hoped they could have added, another audio commentary, another couple interviews or something like that. Just something to make it feel just a little bit more worth it. Like, this costs $32.99. It's a lot of money that we're spending on this stuff. Even more if you got some of the poster and pin packages from the Scream Factory website. Like, at least put some effort in and add a couple of new things. But Scream Factory is not the only one that's not doing that. Like Arrow Video, when they upgrade stuff, isn't really doing new special features. So I'm not trying to pick on Scream Factory. It would just be nice if we got something new with these releases from time to time. But that making of RoboCop 2 is a really good making of. I actually watched that. It's about 32 minutes long. And the other stuff on here, there's some really, really good special features as well. So all in all, they're good features. And I mean, you already got 2 commentaries. So it's like, how many more commentaries do you really need for RoboCop 2? Like, 2 is probably enough for RoboCop 2. But yeah, guys, it is always disappointing, though, to not get anything new when you're talking special features. RoboCop 2, guys, look, I think just from a visual and audio perspective and standpoint, this is totally worth it. Like, this is an incredible, absolutely incredible 4K release. I'm just kind of lukewarm on the film. It's not as good as the first, not by a long shot. So if you're expecting that, if you haven't seen Robocop 2, it's not as smart. The commentary is not as slick as what Paul Verhoeven did back in 1987. So don't expect that. Just expect a fun Saturday morning cartoon version of the first film. So if you go in with your expectations a little bit lowered, you may enjoy Robocop 2, but there is nothing to take away from the visual and audio standpoint of this 4K release. It is absolutely fantastic. It's some really good features. It's just that there's nothing new. But if you didn't purchase that Blu-ray, it's probably fine for you. But there you go, guys. That is my review of Robocop 2 on 4K. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe, like, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.